It's time to get inspired, challenged, and empowered to conquer life's daily challenges with Dr. G and the Monday Morning Moment.
Welcome back. I'm delighted that you've chosen to spend this time with us on this another Lord's Day. I want to share with you a passage of scripture that I want to use to guide my reflections on this morning from Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, which says, "The beginning of wisdom is acquire wisdom, and with all your acquiring, get an understanding." The past week here in the so-called United States of America have been quite alarming, frightening, to say the least. And as I've watched the news like many of you have, I've searched and surfed the internet, I've seen some questions and dialogue that has been coming from our white brothers and sisters, asking and posing questions to their black friends, black co-workers, questions such as, please help me understand what white privilege is. Please help me understand your experience in this country. And I must admit to you, for a while, I was very frustrated because it's as though what we've been saying these past 400 years never really mattered. And so I want to share with you from my heart to all my white brothers and sisters just some words of wisdom, and maybe just to give you some direction, just some places to start as we all attempt to move the needle just a little further to racial equality in this country. I want to start by just defining knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Number one, knowledge is the collective information and facts that a person acquires through spending time and effort reading, listening, studying, and getting familiar with certain things. Without interest or passion, one can hardly acquire knowledge. I start here because as an African American man, I need to say this to my white brothers and sisters. We need you to have the passion and the self-interest to educate yourselves on the black experience in the United States of America so we don't have to. It's tiresome, it's draining. Everything else that you want to gain knowledge about, you put the time and energy into reading a book, to listening, to just simply putting the work in. And so we need you to put the work in and don't rely solely on us to do the work for you. Number two, wisdom is good judgment based on knowledge. And so if knowledge is power, then wisdom is your choice to use or apply that power. Finally, understanding. Understanding is the ability to understand your knowledge and your choices. A person has to know, make a choice, and then practice that choice that they have made. Understanding is knowledge and wisdom put into action. And so while you're gaining the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding says, what I've gained, I'm now going to put it into action. I am praying that this is not just another watershed moment in this nation's history. That after all the lives that have been lost, all the protests, all the speeches, people saying the right thing, that no action comes out of this moment in history. And so what I want to do, I want to give you a quick start to acquiring knowledge to the African American experience in the United States. And I want to give you some things to watch, and I want to give you some things to read. The first thing I would ask you to watch is The Brown Eye, Blue Eye Experiment by Jane Elliott. The second is a Netflix documentary. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Explained: The Racial Wealth Gap. The third, White Men: Time to Discover Your Cultural Blind Spots. There was a TED Talk given by a white man by the name of Michael Welp. And lastly, I would ask that you would watch the movie The Hate You Give. And to my white parents, this would be an excellent movie for you while we're in quarantine, while you're watching a whole lot of TV. Take some time to watch this with your children because it will help educate them as well. And here are two books that I would suggest that you read. The first, Understanding White Privilege: Creating Pathways to Authentic Relationships Across Race. That's by Francis Kendall. The second book is entitled Uprooting Racism: How White People Can Work for Racial Justice. And the author is Paul Kivel. My white brothers and sisters, I implore you to get an understanding, to get wisdom, to get knowledge as it relates to race relations and what we all can do to make things better for our children, our great-grandchildren, and for years to come. This has been another Monday Morning Moment with Dr. G. I look forward to seeing you again next week.